It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Hey, big thanks to Derek, Baker Six Clan, for our opening, and our featured patrons, Hailmeister, RJ Elder, KC0AOO, DJ B-Tex, Geotribe 5, Muddy Buddy 82, M&M from M, Ladybug Karen, returning patron Nitty Gritsky, B Genius, and our new patrons, Gooey Esty, 6 Easy, returning patron Kitty Catch. You'll see a theme here. Happy F33T3, TN Duke, returning patron Ravenclaw Tia, Baby Yoda Girl, B&J Bish, returning patron Husker Medic, and Ryan. I forgot to write down his GC name, but thank you, Ryan. And we are all here tonight, so not quite. Jesse's not with us tonight. Instead, we've got the Pizza Ninja. There he is.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, good. I'm glad you're along for the ride.
Yeah, I had my pizza earlier, and I'm ready for some fun.
Good deal. Good deal. And then we have Chad, aka Trycacheus.
Hello, everybody.
Amy, aka Glowworm77.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for being with us too. This will be fun. I'm a big fan, obviously, of you guys, and a big fan of North Dakota geocaching, and a big fan of Gilby. So I'm all in on the Disneyland of geocaching, as Joshua put few years ago. And but we need more. We need to know more about this place. We're going to dive into the inner workings of North Dakota geocaches. So anyway, we're going to get into that here in a minute. I think John, I've only got one news item, so I'm going to hit the news button. Let's do it.
Oh, and Gary, you're muted.
Yes.
I don't know if that was the AI technology to prevent you from spilling the beans that went into effect.
Oh no, Gary just spilled the beans.
Yeah, I got to say, with this Chat GC integration to prevent you from spilling the beans more often, I think this is the first time we've tried it, right?
I think so, maybe. But yeah, y'all missed all my secrets that I just gave out, but apparently I was blocked from telling you the. But I can tell you that Podcast of Hope will be on December 2nd. So mark your calendars. December 2nd, it'll be from 4 p.m. to midnight, 8 straight hours, no stop. just Jerry Lewis telethon style, man. We just go and go and go. Now we do every hour we recycle or we swap out guests. So and we'll produce a lineup to give to everybody so you can look ahead and see if there's certain hour you would like to watch or join us for all 8 hours. You never know. And we give away prizes every hour. All of that money goes straight to St. Jude, and we're always excited to do that for them. And they've been wonderful to us, giving us graphics, and they give us videos to show, and they've been a real great. They do such great work, but their behind the scenes teams do such great jobs. So we've partnered with them, and that team, and they're doing a great job of promoting St. Jude. So anyway, that's I guess our one announcement for that.
Yeah. And what
Go
a
ahead.
great time, great cause on that one. And to me, I mean, we all know the geocaching community is just so amazing. And I mean,
Yeah.
just like the showing and how that gets bigger every year and so many more people behind it. I mean, just
Mhm.
such a cool time. That's one of my highlights of the year, the podcast of hope.
Yeah, we're gonna pass over 50,000 this year that we've given. So it's a cause near and dear to everyone on the network's hearts, and we will have, crazy as it sounds. Josh always laughs at when I, in fact, we've had him on for it pretty much every year now, but we do a show about the show. So he's like, seriously, you're going to do a show where you're just going to talk about the lineup for the show? And I go, yeah, that's what we're
Yeah.
going to do. We're going to do a show, talk about the lineup for that night. And he's like, you're serious, aren't you? I was like, yeah, we are.
Well, it's a big show. It's
It's
kind
a
of like
big,
almost like our Super Bowl,
it is.
for Geocache Talk Network every year. So
Yeah. So anyway, so glad everybody's along. We have a lot of great mentions of people in the chat room. If you're not on in the chat room, please join us for that and join in on the conversations. Ask questions. We will make note of your questions. We may not get to it immediately, but we can put a little star by it, and we'll come back to those questions and ask Chad and Amy later on in the show. So, first question out of the gate, I've got my first question for Chad, and that is, I went through the event page, and I noticed that there was a comment that you had been to. It says the first event I attended was in 2008. At the end of that event, they asked where we should do the next one. I said Gilby, and it goes on from there. But was that just a generic event, or was that was it a regular event, Chad, or what was that?
So I started in 2008, and I was like super nervous to meet all these real geocachers. And
Okay.
it was just an event in a park. I don't even remember how many people, but I could tell that the group had been around. They were all friends. They knew everybody, and I
Right.
was there with my two young kids, and
Right.
I really didn't, like I said, I really didn't know anybody there. I just thought, man, these guys are amazing.
It's awesome.
One of them was Jerry, by the way, Genice.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
Janice.
can
Yep.
I can of course remember him because he kind of stands out a little bit.
Oh
And a
yeah.
few others that I know now. But so, like I say, they said, where should we have another event? And I said, well, how about Gilby? And they all kind of laughed, like, where the hell is Gilby? Where the heck is Gilby?
That
So,
is Gilby. Is that North Dakota? You're like,
mhm.
that's awesome. So yeah, and lo and behold, years later, but um, you're having, this is the fourth year, is that right? Or fourth
Yeah,
event?
fourth event of Gilby Gone
Fourth
Wild.
Fourth Gilby Gone Wild. Okay, so now have there been? I mean, I know there have been. You've had events in Gilby prior to Gilby Gone Wild.
Yeah, we had a pretty small one. It was, COVID at the time, so we did have a little. The reviewer said no at first, and so then we just had kind of a gathering, and then we ended up being able to have an event down the road. So, yeah, the first one was just everybody was going to show up, even though the reviewer said that we can't have a real event.
Right.
But from there, then it got bigger and bigger.
Oh, okay. Now, Amy, you don't live in Gilby. Where do you live? I'm trying to remember.
I live in Mandan, North Dakota,
Okay.
which is central, right by the capital, Bismarck.
Okay, very cool. So, how far then from there to Gilby is it? Do you think?
About a 3.5 hour drive.
3.5. Okay.
If we don't
Stop.
cache.
I was about to say that to you. I was like, if you didn't stop for caches, which I know is impossible for you, it would take you 3.5. Like a non-cacher would take 3.5 hours. Okay.
And that's why cachers, you can never say. Most people will be like, "How far away is that?" And you can say like an hour away.
Yeah.
And that is never a good thing when you ask a geocacher, "How far away is that?" Well, depends upon the caches, right?
It always depends.
Yeah. Question for you guys too. And how big is Gilby? Like, how many people live there?
Approximately 240 people live in Gilby, and we had well over that at the event this year. I guess I'm not sure. We celebrated in 2012 our 125th year of having the town there. So yeah, it's not a very big town, that's for sure.
Okay, cool.
And you can still get pizza in Gilby, right?
When the bar is open, you can get pizza. Otherwise, people will show up and there's nothing to eat. And once in a while, I say, if I run into them, I say, I can always make a pizza if you guys are hungry for dinner. So, I've had a few people over for hamburgers and pizza.
I'm taking notes of this, so when I come and visit, I'll know how to survive and getting pizza.
You'll be able to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom said he had an event there one time when they were finishing up the lower 48. Him and Cheryl, Crazy for Cats.
Yeah, Tom got a first to find it actually in Gilby.
Oh wow, how about that?
Very cool.
Yeah, Jen asked if y'all doubled the town this weekend, so that's cool.
Yeah, definitely did.
Very cool. So Amy, what was your first exposure to Gilby that you remember from a geocaching perspective?
Well, I had been caching around North Dakota for a while, and everyone was like, "You've got to go to Gilby. You've got to go to Gilby." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll get there." And we actually didn't go to Gilby until the first Gilby Gone Wild. So 4 years ago was our first time, and we were there for a couple of days, and we cached the area out, but it was amazing. All of the caches, I mean, everyone's a favorite. It's hard to pick one. It's like, I don't even know how to explain. And when people ask, "Well, what's your favorite cache there?" And I'm like, I don't know. Love them all.
Yes.
So, and it's just amazing. And also, the people, I mean, everybody's just happy to be there. That's how it was. We met so many people too, just that first year, even though it was small, we still ran into people at the caches and help each other out and stuff, because sometimes you're there a little while and you're like, I really hope somebody comes along and can help.
That's awesome. Yeah. I do love seeing the places that you've been and your mom and your caching. It's always fun to, even though we all try to get out and cache, it's always fun to sort of vicariously live through some of the other people's geocaches and finds, just because you're like, oh man, that looks like a cool place. I put that on my list.
Oh, and I got to tell you, from looking at all the Facebook pictures this weekend of everybody in Gilby, oh man, it just like, it was like crazy to see like all the smiles, all like the people having a blast on that front. And I can't remember, Chad, what's the name of that Facebook group for Gilby?
Oh, shoot.
I've got one.
Gilby
It's a
fan club page, maybe?
Yeah. Gilby
Yeah.
fan club
Yeah,
group
it's
is really
something
good.
Geocache has set up
Yeah.
quite a few years ago.
Oh,
And
That's
okay.
cool.
we really have been hit a lot this last few days asking to be included because we have to okay a person coming in. But we
Right.
really been getting a lot of extra people signing up.
Yeah. Is it okay if I paste the link to that in the chat?
If you know how to do it, that's great. I can't, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
I just did it because I know
okay.
I joined that group, I want to say about a year ago, and
Okay.
it's so cool being a part of that.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement. It's there are some spoilers on it once in a while, but like I say, if you don't want to see spoilers, don't be watching the internet.
Yep. Bill on the Move, who I know had a great time this weekend there, said he's gotten 3 FTFs in Gilby, so good for him.
Yeah,
So that's
Yeah, he was running around with Neil Moore and Jason Hale. It sounded like they had a lot of fun.
Oh, very cool. There's a good question from Albedo, who's down in the South. He's a Southerner, like the rest of us. So he wants to know what the caching season is in Gilby. What would your guess be for a Southerner who may or may not do well in the snow? So let's keep that in mind. So for us in the South, not for John, because he can handle it.
Yeah,
but
I'm
for
at
us in the
North
South,
42.
what would we consider caching season, do you think?
Well, for them wimpy Southerners, I would say it's
Yes.
probably June to July, probably. But
Okay.
I'm
Perfect.
kidding, of course. But I've had people they come out for if I put out a first to find cache in the winter, which I don't normally do, they'll come out to find it.
Sure.
I have had Canadians come out. They were doing a some type of game with geocaching where like a bingo or something where they had certain GC numbers they had to have, and I had one called Strongman that they had to get the numbers off of that one. Well, they went out there with snow shovels and whatnot to find it.
Insane. Now
I
that's the one
agree
where
with
you
them.
is that the one where you hit the thing and the
Yep.
strongman like the
Yep.
okay. That's the one. Okay.
Now, should there be an attribute during the wintertime, snow tires required to reach these caches too?
There are attributes, I think, for snowshoes, if I remember right.
Yeah, there is one for snowshoes.
Yep.
Uh,
So it's available. They're all available. It's just how you're going to get to them. It can be a little bit tough.
Yep. Jasper put in there Kelsey put in the Geocaching North Dakota fan club. That's the name of it. And then you put it in there too, John. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. I put that link in there. So yeah, I'd encourage anybody, because I know for me, I can't wait to go to Gilby, and my excitement just keeps on growing. And especially
I know, me
seeing
too.
after all those pictures and some of those videos, it's just
Yep.
Yeah, I can't tell you how jazzed I am.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, Mike's from ticks to snow. Depends on when you want to. Depends on your time of year, I guess. Right.
Right. Yep.
Pretty good explanation.
Yeah, really. So I want to go back to the reaction or the comments and reactions that you have gotten over the years from the locals. So I know we've kind of talked about before a little bit about their embracing of geocaching. I'm sure it took you a while to kind of get them to kind of come on board. But I know that a few years ago, I think I asked about that, is the fact that they really were on. I mean, they really joined and became on board with what you were doing. How is the reaction today, now that it's a few years down the road from you're putting out a lot of these really great caches and Joshua's videos and stuff? what is their reaction today, do you think?
The community center is uh, really behind this. They ask me when I'm going to put it on, so they can get it lined up and everything. Uh,
Oh, cool.
um, but yeah, they definitely are excited. They actually went out a little bit more where they got T-shirts and coffee cups and a few other things. They decorated the
Oh,
community
cool.
center, and like Jolynn and Kayla and Heather and all the other gals that were helping and guys, they're pretty excited to have this. It does help the community, the parks, and
Mm-hmm.
hey, we got to put a new roof on the shelter, and they've got more things they want to do around the park and community center and things like that. That they really got the town fired up to get things done around there. It's been a lot of fun being part of that.
That's very cool. Do you have you come to a point where you've had to either archive some and then try to and put out new ones, or do you feel like that you're still finding locations and businesses and spots to put caches out, or are you at a point now where you think you're going to have to kind of sort of shift things around?
If I run into a cache, I think that I'm not completely, 100% like, I'll archive them once in a while and put a new cache there. But
Right.
there is a lot of space out here. I can find spots.
Oh, okay,
I
good.
know quite a few of the families and farmers around here, and
Mm-hmm.
they've really been very welcoming for allowing me to put caches in their trees. It's
Oh, very
it's
cool.
pretty neat when I
Mhm.
ask somebody. I actually had one farmer. He sent me coordinates where of his trees where I could put caches and things like
Oh,
that. And
neat.
Oh,
and
very
it's
cool.
just neat the way some of the farmers get behind it. And I just give them a call and I said, can I put caches in your trees? And they said, yeah, if you need to do whatever you want to do. And if
Cool.
I'll ask them if I can put a post, and they says you got the 100%. You can run and do whatever you want. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
it's
wow.
pretty neat how well the farmers have helped me out.
Mhm.
Um, Having the caches out in the trees is a little bit different experience for a lot of these city slicker people, and um, so it's so nice to be out away from people and playing with these
Right.
goofy boxes out in the trees.
That's
Amy knows.
awesome. Yeah. Have you're being a finder, or yeah, I don't know how to put it. You're not the hider, Amy, but being the seeker of some of these caches that the Chad's putting out. Have you found that um, you're you ever, and let me know which ones you're thinking of, but are there some that you're like, man, this is awesome. I hope it always sticks around for others to find? I mean, I'm sure there's some like that, but um, are you always wondering, like, I wonder, or you, as you drive around Gilby, you're like, I wonder if Chad knows that there's a spot over here that's open.
Well, there's a lot of spots open. I mean, it's pretty flat prairie country with it's just farm country, and then there's tree rows every plot or whatever. So I don't even know how to explain it. It's just if you've
Sure.
never been there and seen like just the fields of either corn or sugar beets or soybeans that they grow, you've got the fields, and then in between they have these tree rows to
Right.
protect from the wind and stuff. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
there's just tons of places that you could put more caches along these country roads and stuff. And um,
Hmm.
but as far
Okay.
as going in and like caches that I'd like to see, I mean, there's the classic ones like Strongman at the fair. I know Chad always talks about, it's getting kind of older. It might not hold together much longer. I don't know what we're gonna do. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, Chad, can you weld? Maybe you could weld it together with some metal and stuff. It's got to stick around. Like, it's a great cache. It's just a classic. And then there's new ones. I believe ET Rides Again is one that he put out last year, and I actually revisited this year just because it's such a fun cache and it's like one that's a favorite of mine. So I had to go back and I'm like, I need pictures. I've heard it's been updated with the proper ET. So I had to go take pictures again.
That is awesome.
That is
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
cool.
that was neat. So I didn't have an ET to put on it, and but I did have a Yoda, which is an ET in general. But
Mhm.
Doug, uh, Roomba Cats contacted me and says, "Hey, I've got a real ET for." So he bought it and he sent it out to me, and so I really thank Doug for doing that.
That's awesome.
Oh man, that is so cool. One of the things I'm wondering, because for me, I'm kind of thinking, okay, so when I plan my trip to Gilby, what do I bring? One of those things I know I should probably bring is a ton of favorite points to give out. I do know that. Um,
Yeah.
on top of
Don't come
that,
empty-handed.
yeah,
Definitely.
top of that, I'm wondering like some things like, do I need to bring any sort of like batteries for gadget caches? Do I need to bring any other tools of the trade that maybe I wouldn't typically need? Or
If bring an extra person or two, that certainly helps a long ways.
Cool.
Really, there's only one tool that I say you have to have is a tape measure. That's the only thing that
Ooh.
I say you need to bring with. Not your typical geocaching tool, but there is one
Mhm.
cache. That's about I think the only one you need a tool for is a tape measure.
okay,
Well, a
and you
car,
don't.
if you want to do the one out the window,
Yeah, unless you can run fast, sure.
because you can
That's
run
true.
real fast.
Do you need to bring an extra ATM or credit card for any of your caches out there as well?
You're jumping the gun, man. That's coming up. We're not getting to that point yet. We'll talk about that one in a little bit.
Sorry,
So
my excitement's just getting the better of me
you're
here,
way too
Gary.
excited about that cash. We'll
Yeah.
get to there. We'll get there. Just yeah. Um so a couple of the comments I wanted to get to real quick. So Chandram, he's an arborist. He's like trees. So you got him fired up. He wants to come check out your tree selection.
Mhm.
Knowing Chandram, he'll want to convince you to put a ammo can at the very top of one of them, and just so that people have to kind of come out with their equipment and try to scale the tree with the um, with the special tools to get to the top. So um, yeah, Jerry says he says they even mow around the caches, so that's really cool. So
Nice.
and yeah, Audie was he puts a lot in Kansas because that's where he lives. He says he feels like the North Dakota farmers are friendlier than the Kansas farmers. But he's working on that. I know he's working on them in his area. Um, but anyway, so yeah. So let's kind of dive into the Gilby Gone Wild event. So, what are some of the highlights this year? And what are some things that you felt like that really stand out for you guys for this year?
For me, I added a new thing. I've got one cache that I'd never put out. It's been in the shop probably for 4 years or better. You have to hook it up to your car battery, and I just never found a good spot for it. So I actually just brought it to the event, hung
Oh,
a
cool.
sign on it, and said, if you can get your name on the log, I'll I'll get put you in a drawing for a special prize. So it was fun. The thing is probably 5 feet tall and it's on wheels, so people will you see them dragging it through the park out to their car and hooking it up, and then
That's
somebody
awesome.
else will find it and see what they're doing, and then they'll haul it to their car. So it ran around quite a bit. So it was kind of fun to that I actually got that cash out and being used.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
it was fun watching people, you know, little old ladies dragging this thing through the park. And
That's awesome. Um, Amy, is there anything particular that stands out for you or?
It was pretty exciting. I don't know if other people obviously know, but there was a couple lackeys, obviously,
Oh
at the
yeah,
event.
absolutely.
Geocaches made it back, and JT
Yep.
Coffee
JT
also,
Coffee. Yeah.
and it was just fun to see them. And then also, it was pretty cool. They've put out a challenge series, obviously with Chad's assistance in the
Oh,
area, and their challenge caches were so cool. Like, there's one that's called Winter's Coming, and it kind of you had to find caches with those winter attributes such as snowmobile, um, snowshoes, cross country ski, and then just winter friendly caches, things like that.
Oh
So
man,
just the
that's
different
awesome.
combinations and things were really cool. And then there
No,
was
that is awesome. Go ahead.
yeah.
Keep
I was
going.
just gonna say, and one of probably my two favorites of I think there's 25 of them, and
Oh, wow.
Winter's Coming is one of my favorites, and then there's one called Party Tiger, and you have to attend events on every day of a month, I think it is. It's kind of a weird combination, but it was pretty cool too.
Oh, that's
That's
neat.
So we have
awesome.
just several neat challenge cache combinations.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was really excited that Gia and Jess offered to put those out. I'm not
yeah.
really a challenge cache doer, but they were all ones that I'm excited I could actually have a cache around here I can find now. So it was really
Well,
appreciate those two coming out and doing all that work.
that's true. I mean, you're always putting them out, so you can't always get a chance
Sure.
to put caches out. I was going to find. Oh, there it is. So I was fortunate enough to spend a little time when I was at HQ, and what do you know? My two favorite lackeys were there, so I got to take a picture. So there's Gia and JT Coffee, Jess. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, they're it's great, and I'm glad to see. I mean, Gia's from from North Dakota, but I just glad to see them um, embrace you guys in the North Dakota geocaches, and something that we've really tried to do on Geocache Talk is to embrace, because we love you guys. We love the area. I haven't been there yet, and that's probably part of the. I mean, I'm disappointed that I haven't been able to go, but I'm kind of like John. It's like it's one of those things that you're like, I want to go to Wonderland, and I'm thinking that this might be, so right, John. We like this is like
Absolutely,
I want to go
absolutely.
to. You want to go to Oz? I want to go to Oz. Don't
I,
you want to go to Oz?
well, and yeah, and when you and Jesse and I were talking last on this one, we're like, we all want to go. We should just all just commit, go, do it.
I want to see the Emerald City. Oh, we got Gia's
I
with us
know,
tonight here, so we
I
got
know.
great. So
And
she says, "I love getting." Go ahead. You
oh
want to read it?
yeah, yeah. We're just. I'd love getting to bring Jesse back to the Midwest to experience the magic of Gilby. The caches and the people are equally amazing.
Yes.
And I just
Look,
picture Gilby as a town where there's no LPCs, Chad. I don't know if that's true or not.
Nope, none around the Gilby.
There's no LPCs to be found. I like.
Gia has been a Gilby hype gal forever. And now I know Jesse is with her tonight. They're on their way back to
Right.
Minneapolis to fly out tomorrow in a couple of days, and I guess Jesse has decided she'll be an official Gilby hype person also.
Oh wow,
Oh,
that's
nice.
awesome.
Very cool.
I love in the photo. Gia's holding I think it's that's a Gilby cache, right? The giant Swiss Army
Swiss
knife.
Army.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
a copy of one that was on the geocache blog. It
Yeah.
was in Washington, I believe. I think Don't Eat Donuts or something like that
Mm-hmm.
was the creator of the first one, and I thought it was so neat. I figured I should make one.
Yeah, it's awesome. In fact, I used that photo. I gotta find it. It's in the
Yeah.
book. 501 Geocache Before You Die, U.S. States version.
Well, Gary's looking it
Shameless
up.
plug. Go find it
Yeah.
on Amazon.
And that
me
book
out,
is
buy a
awesome.
book.
I have to say, Chad, some of your caches are the most photo-friendly geocaches I think I've ever seen when people have been taking pictures with them.
Gosh, he does, doesn't he? So there's the one with Hailmeister
Oh yeah.
holding it. So there you go. It's the number 8 back in the day with using the algorithm. So Swish Cache 24. So that was and of course you can imagine a lot of North Dakota is in Gilby, but there's other places. We'll talk about we'll talk a little bit about North Dakota geocaches in general in a moment. But I saw the photo of everybody. You know, your event photo was kind of fun seeing everybody. A lot of people wearing the shirts, which I'm glad that you guys do that. We'll put the link in the show notes. So if you'd like to get a Gilby shirt, you can go to that link and you can do that, and it helps promote Gilby, and the proceeds I think go back into building geocaches and things like that. So that's really cool. Kind of like Amy is wearing tonight. Amy is is showing us the Gilby. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, actually made that shirt.
Yes.
He was gonna. I think originally it said I left my favorites, and I said, well, shouldn't it be hearts? And so he's the one that actually made that shirt, and then he donates the proceeds to Gilby.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, he's in the chat room tonight. He's wanting to do a October event, in trying to muster some support for that. In fact, he wants to call it the Gilby Gone Wild 4.5. So.
As long as he gives me a little bit of time to get the caches back in shape, and I'm sure there's been a few. I haven't looked at my emails. Last I looked at, I was at 3,500 emails, so I'm not sure. I'm at 3,700 right now, I guess. So, as long as he gives me some time to get out there and make sure the caches all work again, then I'll let him.
Yeah, well, put him to work. Put that guy to work.
There you go.
Make him get out and fix some of those things. You know.
There you go. As he's videotaping, he can replace the logs. Sure.
Yeah, you can hold the camera and put him to work. That's what I'm saying.
I was going to say, do you need like a NASCAR style, like maintenance crew?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Change all the tires and get all ready again.
Yep.
Yeah. So Gia says that they timed their drive to catch the show. So thank you, Gia. We love y'all. Y'all been great. And so yeah, Lori's asking about how attendees. So what I didn't pull up I need to pull it up right now, in fact. So
I just peeked and it was 135 a moment ago when I refreshed it.
That have logged.
But I'm sure they'll be before the show was only one.
Good.
It was 129. I mean, before the show started, so I know people are still logging, obviously, and traveling home and stuff. And
one thing too, I think people forget about is it's hard to see a number for that because many people cache on one account. So like my wife and I both are on the same account, so we're only going to be able to log it once, but two of us were there. So the attendees are sort of, you have to kind of almost double that. Not quite 1.5, I guess. Maybe you could add another. So if it was 120, what was it you said, Amy? Again, that one I was looking.
It was 135.
135. So yeah, so take half of that and add it on to it. So 135 times 1.5. So that's probably more like the true number of people, that were there. So
I think Will attends was in the 180 area.
Right.
So how many actually showed up is hard to say, of course.
Yeah. What an awesome design. You cheesy man. Yes, it is an awesome design, Josh. Paul's asking a question about if he flies in next year with a backpack and a one-person tent. Is there a place he can set up? Is there a location near Gilby that he can?
Yeah, there's places he could set up. Yep.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So let's go to where do you want to go next, John? Before we kind of Jesse's on too.
I know. I was just looking at this one. I'm like, man, with your Trycacheus, Chad, it sounds like, I mean, if anybody ever gives a TFTC, like that's totally inappropriate. So we definitely appreciate what Jesse's saying. Like, it just seems like you got to really document that full experience on them.
Yeah.
And that's so cool. And I know I was reading some of the blogs, and it's just like, man, all of them, you could just tell what a rich experience everybody was having while they were doing that too, on that side.
Yeah. Tony's saying that, like for him, he's got a notification on his Travel Bug Hotels gets a lot of hits. It's a really cool Travel Bug Hotel, and he's like, I can't imagine what Trycacheus has to go through. So do you like turn it off for the weekend, or do you glance? Do you glance to see if there's a problem? How do you handle that?
There's no way to keep track of it on the weekend. I actually tell the people in the morning on Saturday of the event. Normally I'll answer the phone calls, but during the event I tell people don't call me. I'm not going to answer. I won't watch my phone at all.
Can't even imagine.
I'll maybe look down and if I see it's a text from somebody that I might know real well, then I'll answer sometimes. But I usually don't answer the phone. Don't really watch the text. I'll look down and see how many emails I have once in a while, but I'm so busy visiting and putting out other fires and things like that. So I wouldn't have time to replace caches or anything. So I just let it go and apologize if there's a problem.
Yeah, I got to imagine though, you just got to have it completely silent. If not, you're just going to feel like your phone like vibrating like nonstop.
Yep.
The whole weekend on that side.
Yeah. And most of the people do real well because there's always another group coming in behind somebody, and there's usually enough heads working to figure it out. And so I'm glad that they don't call when they do have troubles. But
and you want to enjoy the weekend, so and I know you have people come from all over. Zipper Tiff, she's in Southeast Texas, and her and her group are headed home from the trip to Gilby Gone Wild. They had 3 days in the area, but I don't know how it's going to take her a while to get home. I mean, it's took her a few days to get up there. It's one thing, we have such a great, big, wide country that it takes a while to get some places out here in the West, as it were, all the Midwest for North Dakota, and but it's not like where you are, John, where you can be in another state in what, 5 minutes, maybe? Can you go to?
Pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah, I live about halfway between Buffalo and Erie, PA. So, us going to another state to get some food or something like that isn't bad whatsoever. Yeah. Hey, Chad, I got to ask you a question, because every time you have an event like this too, are you releasing like new caches every time you have a Gilby Gone Wild?
I try to put out 10 caches a year. So there's usually I try to get them out a couple of weeks before. This year I was a little bit I had so many things going on that I didn't get them out quite as quick as I was hoping, but they all came out in time for the event.
Very cool.
I usually try to get about 10 out.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. And I know one question, it's probably on Gary's list, and I think we talked a little bit about it before the show. I think you said there's not a date yet for next year, right? For the next
at this moment, no. I'm too tired to even think about having another event. But
too early.
It's the 5-year mark. I've been told there'll be one, but I haven't decided yet. It kind of coincides. My son races go-karts, and it kind of coincides with his end of the year banquet where they do all the trophy awarding and stuff. And this year he was a points champion in his class, so I ended up having to miss it because we moved our event ahead and they moved their event ahead at the same time. And so I haven't decided what we're going to do yet, if it'll be this year again or next year. People will stay tuned and watch the Facebook page, and
Very cool.
we'll go from there.
And that Facebook group is definitely the best way to stay in tune when the date's going to be put out.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, it's the easiest way for me to get the word out, and we'll go from there. Like I say, I don't want it to get to be really big, a really big event. Everybody's saying mega, 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 and it's we have plenty of people. We still have a little bit of room for more people, but it's so much easier to keep it as a smaller event. Everybody gets along. It's fun to see everybody, and like I say, I only put out 10 caches, so I don't know why you would bother coming every year for that.
Because you would drag another person with you that hasn't seen all these other caches. So it's like, come on, come with me. Haven't you found this one? Yeah, but we're gonna still go to this cache.
Well, and isn't that the cool part when you bring somebody to in a really awesome cache and like you're there and you're kind of reliving it, with them too. But
you can watch them struggle.
I totally hear you, because I know Gary and I were talking. We're both like very social cachers, and I just thought it was cool looking at the pictures and just seeing that kind of small community. You could see how people were connecting, like at the community center, like at the pavilion, having all those kinds of conversations onto that one. So it seemed like a really good, event on that one to really connect with folks too. So that seemed really cool.
Yeah, Jesse's saying that she thought it's a genuine event, just as it is. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom wants it to be the world's smallest mega, which you only need a certain amount. You could get like just over the edge, but as soon as it becomes a mega, though, it's like everybody wants to come. The gates are kind of open and So as we kind of talk about, we'll continue talking about Gilby and stuff, but I wanted to ask Amy about when you if somebody asks you, like, I'm going to go to Gilby, I'm going to do the Disneyland of caches, but then I want to cache in the area as well. What are some areas that you would suggest for folks that, like, should they go south, north? What comes to mind when you think about an additional location to sort of help for a whole, like if somebody's going to be there for a whole week and they do Gilby, first, then where do you think people could go? Where do you like people to go next, do you think?
I think they should end with Gilby, because if you have that standard first.
Yes, that is smart.
But no, I shouldn't say. There are really great caches all around the state of North Dakota. There's a lot in Grand Forks, which isn't too far from Gilby. It's within a half hour or so, and Fargo is just south of that. Okay. And then also, like, the Bismarck-Mandan area has tons of caches. Cool. The oldest in the state is in Bismarck, so a lot of people will come in and get the oldest in the state in the Bismarck-Mandan area, do some caching around there, and then maybe head east to Fargo and then up to Grand Forks and kind of end in Gilby. And I'd say that's a pretty good, like, week trip if you're going to be in the area for that long.
Sure. That's cool. Mike mentioned something that I thought of as well, is that if you've never been up toward Canada, you could bring your passport and head up to Canada. How far? I mean, I know you're gonna cache on the way up there, so it's a difficult question. But if you weren't caching going up to Canada, how far do you think you'd have to drive to get to the border? Do you think?
It's not even an hour. Is it that far?
I would say just a little more than an hour. Yep.
Yeah,
wow,
just a little over an hour.
Not bad at all.
And if you go to the Morton Winkler area, there is a huge amount of caches just right over the border in those couple of towns. And then Winnipeg is just is it 100 miles about?
So nothing.
So,
another hour or so
yeah, it's
from the border.
about another hour, so it's not that
That's not
far.
bad.
And actually, even for flying in, Winnipeg is a good location to fly into and drive from there. So it's one of the closer hubs too if you don't come into Grand Forks.
Yeah, that'd be cool because it's a pretty good sized city. So I mean, like you said, that's a good option. Yeah, I went when I was up in the Seattle area this spring on a trip. I didn't go over the main border crossing, although it's well manned. It's also busy. So I went through a very small or smaller, well, it's much smaller crossing that took me to Abbotsford, and so yeah, there's only one person that's manning the booth, but there was only like 10 cars, so it wasn't like. So is the crossing going into Canada? Is it not too bad, do you think, or is it just like any other crossing? It's going to take you half an hour or something?
I would say, under half hour as far as I know, and they're pretty
Typical.
quick. There's
That's
a bigger one over near Pembina, which is just straight north. And if you're going up to Winnipeg from Grand Forks, and then and that one's 24/7. And there's a smaller one, Chattel, no, the name of the town, but that one's not open if you're planning on coming across late or really early. It's probably closed. So
And did I
aware of that.
did I read on Facebook somewhere that if you cross the border with a DNA tube, you better make sure there's a log in it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had gone and met a few people in Canada. We did a couple power trails, and we had extra caches to replace if they needed to be, and they were left in one of the person's cars. And as they crossed, they were randomly selected to be searched their car, and they came up with this baggie of little DNA tubes. And luckily, I had logs in every one of them. So, but she was a little nervous for a little bit there.
The trouble that Chad gets in.
Yeah, she was not happy with me. I'm sure they were kicked under the seat too, I'm sure. So they found them anyway.
That's crazy.
So Pink Monkey 7 is the one that got caught with those.
Oh, dang. Man, so good words of wisdom. If you're traveling with geocaching containers, make sure there's logs of them, especially when crossing the border.
Yeah,
exactly. That's awesome. Well, not awesome, but it's a great story. So we're kind of winding down. I want to talk about a couple of different things, but one that I kind of cut John off that I know it intrigued him before the show. So I know, John, you want the details.
Yeah,
so
I got to
ask your questions on that one.
So I mean, Chad, I think I told you before the show, just watching like the pictures and videos of all these caches just like were amazing, and especially the ones that were brand new on this one. And could you tell us a little bit about the donations welcome new cache that you put out there?
Let's have Amy talk about that one. I like I say, I have not been there when it's happened, so I think Amy probably has a better perspective on it.
So donations welcome. You walk up to it, and it's got a small antenna on the roof, and it's got a slot, like a little cover, and you open it up, and it says credit cards welcome. And you can open that up, and obviously it's waiting for you to put your card in there. And then there's a couple buttons. Either you can be a cheapskate, or there's one about giving good donations. And you put your card in there, and if you're a little leery, you should be, because that cash just sucks those cards right in. Like
Wow.
There's quite a. It's like,
did you get your credit card bill back yet?
I'm not saying any bad things about Chad currently, because I'm hoping to get that back. No, they come back.
Yeah,
so it's pretty fun.
That's awesome.
I heard some people had to put like 3 of them in.
Wow, they must have been all cheapskates, right?
Yeah. So 2 buttons. One says cheapskates, and it's a red light when it comes on when you push it, and the other one says take all my money. I'm having a blast, and a green light. And I say you put your credit card in. West Virginia, Tim has it had originally is where I seen it, where you put your card in and it pushes the gate and the door opens, and so I rigged up a couple of rollers out of a printer and a motor and a switch, and it yanks it right out of your hand. You can't stop the thing. It just bang it, it's gone. And then it's like panic for a couple of seconds, and you start feeling around the cash, and there's an obvious knob you pull that opens it up, but I would love to have been able to stand there and watch all day and see these people.
Man, that is so cool.
Eyes light up and like, whoa, what happened? So I know Andrew was there, and we had the one cashier's from Michigan.
Oh.
He was bragging about the big card he's got. It's the best card you can have from the bank, and he started to set it in, and it just gone. He goes, "We got to get it out. I can't go back to the car without it." So it's,
gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. So Mandy's saying she'd love you to get some cameras out there to get the reactions from people.
It would be fun.
Oh man, like a candid camera, like geocaching type of thing.
Yeah. Oh, it really is. It really is. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the videos of some of the vloggers. I know that Neil was there, Bob Billy was there, and Hailmeister. So there's 3 folks that were there.
Yeah, Bob Billy had his rock paper scissors. And he said it was the largest rock paper scissors event he's had. 75 people in the circle.
That is awesome.
That is very cool.
I don't know how he can do it that long.
Well,
Bob Billy is a rock paper scissors machine, from what I've heard.
He doesn't get out much, so I think that they, this is like almost like a once a year. He gets out and gets to do these kind of things. So I'm sure he was pretty fired up. So yeah, I like that you had an event for that. So
yeah, he held the event. I offered to make hot dogs, so my wife and I were in the park making hot dogs while they were playing games, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah. Bob Billy Challenge looks like a great success. Then you had on Saturday you had a campfire event.
Yeah. AFAM Luke held a campfire at the Turtle River. So that was kind of neat. One lady, it was her 500th event that she attended. Wow. That event. Yeah. A gal out of Winnipeg, Danny.
Very cool.
It was really cool to see. There was a lot of milestones over the weekend.
Oh, those were cool.
Like some people found their 100th find was in Gilby this weekend, or 1,000 for a couple cashers. I seen there was a 3,000 for a family. I think a 8,000 and a 18,000.
Wow! Congratulations to all of them.
Yeah, can you imagine your 100th cache and you're in Gilby? I mean, that's like having your it's like the whatever. It's like, oh, my 100th cache and I found the original stash. It's like, well, this is awesome. What are you talking about? You're in Gilby.
Talk about setting the bar incredibly high on that one,
Yeah.
And then going anywhere else and being like, these aren't like the ones in Gilby.
I was about to say that person's career, hopefully and hopefully not for the rest of their geocaching career, they're not like, here's my 2000th. It's not like Gilby, but it's 2000. What are you gonna say?
There's been some young families that start geocaching from Gilby, and of course they do the ones around Gilby. Whoops. And then you don't hear from them again. Once they get them, then it's they're done. It's not the same for them. I feel terrible about that. Like I said, I try to convince people, don't start with Gilby.
You're going to have to start putting warnings on your caches, Chad. Like unless you've already found hundreds of caches, do not find these. These will ruin you forever.
Hopefully, they'll go back where they live and go, you know what? I'm going to try to make a derivation of something like
That
that,
would be cool.
and be, an homage, to the Gilby caches. But I had to bring up Amy. Janice says that your mom made it she was one part of the last 5 of the. Good for her.
The rock, paper, scissors. She was rocking it, and then the pressure
Nice.
got to her. She hesitated and was out.
Rocking it. Good. That was good. Good, Amy. Way to go. Rocking it. Go ahead.
I'm pretty excited. Next weekend, a friend of mine from Winnipeg and I are going to be going to West Virginia.
Oh,
We're
cool.
going to drive down, and we've got an event in West Virginia. Tim is going to be at that, so that'll be a lot of fun to
Nice.
visit with
those
him
are
a
so
little bit,
awesome.
and hopefully we'll get to go to his shop and see some of his caches. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Wow. To be a
Nice.
fly on the wall for that one, John. Would that be incredible to hear them two guys?
That would be incredible.
It'll
And I
be
mean,
fun.
as Chad's saying that, I'm like, okay, so I think it's like 6 hours from where I live to Martinsburg.
He might make it.
Yeah,
6 hours is not bad.
that would be amazing.
You've driven that. You drove to Memphis, so
That's true.
All right. So as we start to wrap up tonight, I guess let's kind of go around the room and give some final thoughts. We unfortunately didn't get to go, so I guess for the most part, you and Amy can give your final thoughts on the weekend, and then John and I'll kind of talk about, I guess, in general, what we've been able to glean from talking to you guys in the past. Again, thank you so much for being on tonight. I know that when I asked Amy and then and also Chad, it's like, do you guys want to be on? Because y'all are gonna be like wiped out. You're like, no, we'll be okay. We can do it. I know you two are tired, but I guess Amy, you want to start? Kind of give people maybe your final thoughts on the weekend and Gilby and whatever else you'd like to mention.
I mean, it's just a great weekend. It's so much more than I know. Like someone was like, "Why would you want to go for just 10 caches or something like that?" And Gilby is just so much more than that. I think it's just the community, the people. I mean, everyone is just so happy because everybody's out there finding these great caches. Everybody has a story. I mean, you all have that in common, and it's so funny to hear everybody's different experience at the exact same cache. Actually, it was kind of fun. We were at one cache and someone was waiting for a friend and their friend came and she's like, I just got stuck at this one. And she was talking about what she did there. And I was like, oh, you have to try all the different pieces of poop in that puzzle. Where do you say that? You know?
Where else could you say that? That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the cache is called the doggone cache, or I'm sure Chad
Crappy.
kind of knows.
Crappy dog.
Yeah, the crappy dog cache. And she's like, oh, I DNF'd it. I'm going to go back and fix that.
That's awesome.
So it's just an awesome, amazing time and just an experience. So even if people are like, oh, there's only 10 new caches, I mean, we go every year and it's just a blast. So looking forward to it already, hoping that it still happens next year. So
very cool.
it'll be fun.
Yeah. Before Chad, I'll let you go. I'm gonna Jessie made a comment I loved. She says, I'm so grateful to have gotten to visit Gilby and experience Chad's creativity firsthand. It was my first time caching in North Dakota, and I can't wait to go back. So thank you, Jessie. That's JT Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you so much. She's been a fan of Geocache Talk, and she's a big supporter, and we really appreciate her. It's good we have a lot, but it's nice to have Jessie and Gia and different ones. Even Brian. I mean, we've been very blessed to have HQ's support over the years, and it's been wonderful. So thank you. Say hi to everybody for us, Jessie. Tell them thank you. As I always try to do, is to tell them thank you for being supporters of us. So geocaching, very social event. That's great. Yeah. As Andrew said, it's an experience. Hard to say that any other way, man. It's intense. It's wonderful, and from what I've heard. So, Chad, I guess what are your final thoughts on maybe the weekend, or what comes to mind for you?
It's I really do enjoy having the event. I really am excited when like say people take off, go find caches, they come back for the drawings and door prizes, and it's fun hearing all the laughter going on around, talking about the different caches they've done. The community center, the gals and gentlemen in there, they just think it's amazing that these people are coming all the way just to see our little town, and they're in the community center just giggling away. It's a lot of laughter in there, and I really appreciate all the help from the community center and putting on the meals and all the drinks. And they had an ice cream cart there this year, and they just go all out for doing this event. I like it's just a big family. People are help a lot. When I set up, I can have everything in a trailer. I show up at 7 in the morning. There's people there by 7:30, and they're hauling tables and hauling totes. And Jeff and Wes are putting out signs, and Ray Lynn is telling everybody where they're supposed to be doing and lining things up. Jess and Gia show up and they line up the silent auction items.
That's awesome.
People are donating. It's amazing the number of prizes that people donate.
Cool.
One particular guy, he donated a bunch of silver coins and $100 red certificate dollar bill. You know, it's some of it. It's amazing the donations that some people bring in. And I'm thankful for all the help that people give me. And but it's a lot of work, but it's fun. I really enjoy it. I enjoy making the caches. I sometimes maybe have a little odd sense of humor, some people tell me, but I just love seeing the joy people have finding the caches and coming to Gilby.
Yeah, that's one thing that Gia mentioned. She says it's just as fun to watch others experience Chad's caches as to find them myself. So a very true statement. So, well, I've said enough. John, what are your sense? I mean, I know you had a sense of Gilby before, but what comes to mind for tonight that you want to wrap up with?
I'll tell you, I just think about when you first started geocaching, and if it's like an LPC and the magic that you have in that, and so many caches,
right?
Yeah, and so many caches say you find thousands of caches, right? And sometimes that magic isn't there. But I think one of the cool things that Chad, you just do an awesome job at is when I looked at those pictures in the Facebook group and you see people's reactions and the experience that they're having, when you're saying that they found thousands of finds, like 3,000, 18,000, etc., and you see that magic in people's eyes, I mean, that's really cool to see that, kind of experience again. So, thank you for all that you're doing to provide all those incredibly cool, amazing caches. And I know I can't wait to come to Gilby on that front. So certainly, hopefully next time, if it's, I don't know if I'll make Gilby 4.5, that Joshua's
in October,
cooking up in the books, but
cooking, yeah.
Hopefully I'll be there for Gilby 5.0, and I look forward to enjoying some pizza and experiencing that magic in Gilby. So thank you, sir, for all that you're doing.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Couldn't have said it better. We're looking forward to, and we got to do some planning, John. I'll go with you, and we'll figure out, how to do it. We could, make sure that bar is open. We can get some pizza there. So thank you, everybody. We'll see everybody next week. We're going to kind of have a special show next Sunday is the Sunday we should be able, at least the plan is that we should be able to roll out the new Geocache Talk network and all the different, maybe not everything.
You got to be careful, Gary, because I still think ChatGC is still in the mode that
Probably
that'll probably censor you from spilling the beans.
Probably. I'm not going to, not tonight. No more bean spilling, but I think we should be able to, if you want to, mark on your calendar, come back next Sunday, and we can reveal some things about the network that we're working on, cooking up in the kitchen there. But so John will be back, and I think Jesse should be back from his travels, and that the three of us should be able to roll out hopefully some exciting new things, at least partially. Some things are going to be a little bit more long-term, but we're looking forward to that. But again, thanks everybody tonight for being along. Thank you guys so much. Everybody who was on board in the chat room and have watched, all of our North Dakota friends that were in the chat and have watched. We love you guys, and we are so grateful that you guys do such a great job of honoring our sport, and looking forward to more. So get some rest though, you two. And we'll see everybody later. Good night,
Take
everybody.
care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Now if I can find the buttons to turn off the outro. Here we go.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.